Hi, this is Thomas with Believe in the Run.
And this is Robbe with Believe in the Run.
And this is Meaghan with Believe in the Run.
And you're listening to The Drop, our weekly podcast about excellence and moving your way up the corporate ladder.
Yep. Learn all the highly effective habits of 7 people.
Yeah.
Wait,
7
like
effective habits of 10 people making friends and influencing people.
Yeah.
No, it's actually, believe it or not, this is about running. And we talk a little bit about our running adventures, and then we usually interview somebody who is also having running adventures. And sometimes we bring up news and cultural stuff that's happening in running. Mm-hmm. So let's get down to business, because this was a big week. This was fun. We had some cool stuff happen. We went on down to Florida, and I think I'd rather start with Robbe this time.
Oh,
because
into it.
This redemption, yours is kind of getting boring, Meg. Like, it's like, just
we have to at least give the shout out to Meg for winning her 5th straight.
Yeah,
Donna Marathon.
Well,
not counting the virtual year.
Yeah, the last year it was canceled. So we traveled all the way down to the Donna Marathon, which is the only marathon dedicated to
finishing breast cancer.
Right, getting rid of it completely.
Like, it's charity. Like, all the proceeds go to that, right?
Yep, it's all part of the Donna Foundation, which is a charity that raises money to help women going through breast cancer and their families, and also research at the Mayo Clinic.
Yeah. So, other marathons have a charity component. This is the charity for breast cancer. It's the only one in the nation. So it's pretty important. It's an important thing for us. The one that we say hi ma to at the end of the podcast is a survivor from breast cancer, and that's Meg's mom. And so it's always been near and dear to our heart. And so we went down. This is your 5th time winning, 5th time if you count like the event going on, because last year it was virtual. You didn't do the virtual marathon, but
I did the virtual half though.
Oh.
And I did win that.
Nice.
All right.
But not the full marathon. But yeah. So this is probably our 6th or 7th year with the foundation.
I think it's like 7, because I ran the marathon the first year.
Yeah.
And that was it's a fun course. That was my first BQ. And it was, you ran the half marathon with your mom that year.
Yep.
Then the following year I went back and ran the marathon again. So for a while I was doing the marathon. Then for some reason I went to the half and stuff.
I will say, sorry, not to change your race history, but the actual event is pretty amazing, because it's like you see there's a lot of survivors that run it, and so I knew you told me that before, but actually like being at the finish line, seeing people come across, it's like, marathons are cool to watch, but then like amplify that, it's pretty cool.
It's an emotional finish line.
Yeah, for sure.
And that was this year when the finish line was a chilly like 46 degrees. This is in Florida.
Yeah, it's crazy.
With rain coming down, gusts up to 20 miles per hour.
No, the gusts were like 40 miles per hour.
Yeah, the constant wind was 20.
Okay.
It
Yeah.
was ridiculous.
It was, as a spectator, it was one of those days where you're like, oof. So, Robbe,
Yeah.
1:30:40,
Uh-huh.
new PR.
Yep.
Like, and pretty impressive, because like we've been talking on the show a little bit about you having some struggling with running, struggling with feeling good. So first off, physically, anything bother you in your leg during the run?
No, I've felt pretty
I'm
like,
healed.
great. I mean, the only thing that I had was I get this whenever I do fast efforts at pretty much any race I've ever done. I get like a tendonitis in my knee, like the side of my knee, usually what feels like tendonitis towards the end of a race. And that started happening like mile 6, but it went away like mile 8.
Oh, wow.
Wait, it happens in the middle of the run?
Usually it happens at like the very end, like my 50 miler, my marathons, my 10Ks. It always happens just like at the end. It could be a mental thing. I don't know.
It could be, or it could be maybe you're imbalanced and need a little strength.
Yeah, but I was glad it went away.
Yeah. So here's what I want to know, because I looked at your splits, obviously, afterwards. You shared them. They're beautiful. So it was a really nice progression. And I was like, did Robbe have a plan that he was like, I'm going to go in at this pace and grind it down? Or did the wins really help as you turned around?
No, I mean, I don't know. Honestly, I don't feel like, obviously a tailwind helps and a headwind hurts, but I felt like that was exactly what I was trying to do anyways. So my goal was to go out. So my goal was like 130, like a goal. Now, if it was an actual 13.1, I got under that. But so my pace was on.
I love it. I love it when people are like, well, if it was perfect.
I'm saying that I should have, the goal that I had, like the pace and the pacing that I had was to land it at 13.1, which I should have.
Like, did you sit down and go, okay, these are the paces I want to hit? Or was it just kind of like, I'd love to hit?
Well, I knew I went to average like around 6:55 or 7, really 7. So I was just like, I'll just start at 7:15 and then just try to go down.
Okay.
And when we went out, there was the like 20-mile-per-hour headwind, like straight on.
That would be a tough start.
Yeah. And there actually are some little tiny hills, but it's like an up and down, and not hills, but there's a lot of turns.
There was 36 feet of elevation gain over the marathon.
But it's just like this.
I know what you mean.
Weird thing. And it's not dead flat. Anyways, but
it's not downhill and you can't put roller skates on.
Yeah. There actually was like one downhill part that was kind of nice. But anyways, so I went out and I was trying to, in the beginning, there's a little bit of a group that I could get into, and then it was basically like on my own after a mile. And I was feeling like if I pushed any harder with my legs against the wind, then they would burn out like within a mile. So I was just holding that pace.
What was that pace?
7:15.
Okay.
And the weird thing, so for this race, I didn't look at my watch at all. So
you stuck to it?
I did.
Okay,
yeah.
that's
awesome. Only until the last mile when I was like trying to see how, like, if I could get under 130. So that was the only time I looked at it. But what was cool about this race is they had timing clocks at every mile.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Which is the first time I ever like experienced that in a race. Usually it's like half marathon, 5K. And so that was cool because I could actually see. But then like when in later miles you have like race brain and you're trying to do the math. And it's like, I don't know what's going on.
If I run 5 quadrants.
Yeah. So that was encouraging, and I could look at the clock and know what I was running each mile. So I was feeling good, and then at the turnaround at 6 miles, you kind of get a tailwind, and you run through some neighborhoods and stuff, and then I was feeling really good, like miles 4 through 5, just like excellent. And then I was just having fun for sure. Like I was just like, this feels okay. I can keep doing this. And then once I get to that like halfway point, I feel like if I'm feeling good, then I feel like I can really like start turning it up. And that's what I did. And it really helped because there's one section where you passed the tail end of the race or whatever. Like it's
that was weird. Like psychologically, that has to hurt a little bit.
For me or
for anybody, like you're running past the finish line.
Oh no, not that part. I mean, like halfway through, there's like a section where you're like they're on one side of the road and you're on the other side.
It's
of the road.
an out and back, so you have all of the slower marathoners coming this way.
All right.
Yeah, and so there was it was probably only like a quarter mile, and there was at least 4 people who were like, Robbe. And I was like, all right, that feels good. Like that's a nice little bump.
Nice.
And so if you're listening to the podcast, and I appreciate that, by the way. So that was a nice bump. And I took a Martin. So pre-race, I took a early morning at 8 peanut butter toast with honey. Then I had like a drink mix, like some free product that we got from a company.
Of course you did. First time using it.
No, I do use that all my long runs. I do use that stuff. And I wish I knew what it's called because I should give them a shout out. But then I had a Martin and then a banana before the race. And then
did you take a Martin during the race?
Mile 6.
Okay.
Yeah. And that was it.
All right. For half, I guess you could take 2.
I have been recently. I never used to take any.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
probably didn't need though.
I felt really great the whole time. And then I just kept cranking it up, like, and just, especially when there was like 4 or 5 miles left, I was just like, I'm just going to keep dropping it. And then I thought 130 was possible. Like it would be a stretch, but I thought I could. So I was just like really pounding it out. And like, I think I averaged 619s for the last 5K.
That's impressive.
Yeah.
Which
which is faster than his 5K.
It was actually 3 seconds off my 5K PR.
Yeah.
And I PR'd in the 10K distance. So
yeah,
that's a good day.
A great day. And what was cool is that Aldrin was there.
yeah.
So you were able to kind of like, Aldrin got second place overall.
Yeah. He finished in 116, I think.
116. It's just insane.
Yeah.
And then, so you crossed the line, you got Aldrin there. So you had some like companionship at the end as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I puked in
Oh, you puked too?
Yeah, but I didn't really have anything. Unlike Meaghan, I only had a little bit of Martin in me.
Yeah. And I didn't, since where I was, I wanted to be able to catch Meaghan and Ben at like mile 14. So I didn't get to be at the finish and see you finish, but I saw you guys shortly after when Meaghan and Ben were coming to the finish line.
I do have a question. So I've actually been thinking about this because I kind of don't understand, and maybe you have an explanation, Meaghan. I don't, like, 7:15 was the start, and I was like, I'll keep going down. All right. But when I run a normal run and I try to run a 7:15 mile, it feels like I literally can only do one of them. And so I don't understand how and I don't know, maybe it's just like something that I could do and I don't understand how I do it. Like on race day, I can just be like, and I'm like, good.
And I'm the opposite. I can train at the pace that I want to run a race at. I get to race day and I'm like,
yeah.
Well, for someone who's training like what I would call a normal, typical training plan, like following, you have the taper, and then you go into race day and you have adrenaline, and there's like a bunch of factors that combine to make race pace feel easier. You, on the other hand, don't really follow any strict training plan. I'm not sure that you did a real taper.
I did actually the weekend before. I did like 3 back-to-back double runs, back-to-back.
So I don't know. I think yours is a lot of mental.
Okay.
Yeah.
A lot of adrenaline.
Nuts.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's good though. You can turn it on race day.
That is true.
I prefer.
Yeah.
Actually, I love training, so works both ways.
I just think about, even when I was doing a few speed workouts that you gave me, Meaghan, I was just like trying to do 7:15 mile or something. I'm like, I feel like I'm gonna die. Like I can't do.
I mean,
this.
you also do have, like, at least when you're going out with a race, I always find that it's the trap for me is that everybody going out real fast and everybody looks, it doesn't, like, you look at other people and you're like, this doesn't look hard.
Yeah.
And you end up going out too fast and then it's like someone hands you
I will say that is one thing I'm pretty good at, is knowing that if I feel like I'm going slow, I'm going race pace.
Yeah.
Like in the beginning. So I'm good at not going out fast. And my favorite thing in the world is just passing people. Like that's the best feeling at the end of a race. So I'd rather leave some meat on the bone. Like there might be some meat on the bone, and just,
I don't know if you're throwing up at the end.
I mean, yeah, I was dry heaving the whole last mile. So
there you go.
So you did it right. You nailed it.
Yeah.
All right. But yeah, I don't know. It was definitely pretty awesome though.
Yeah, it was cool to see, and it was great to see, like, kind of like, we were talking about, and you've had, a readjustment recently.
Yeah.
So it kind of like is an affirmation for, hey, you're heading in the right direction.
Yeah. No, I'm excited. I think this year will be good.
Yeah. And then
let's talk about this.
On top of it,
this is more important.
We have Ben Johnson. I don't know about more important, but equally exciting. Ben Johnson came down to pace Meaghan for the marathon. I was hyped up because originally I had signed up for the half marathon, but with what was going on with my foot, I was like, I'll just be support crew for this. And it was actually more fulfilling than I thought it would be. I had a lot of fun being the guy to grab jackets at the start, being the guy to help out during the run and take photos and do all that stuff, which I normally would probably be. I probably would have been all, depending on how my race went, either sad sack or excited on the side for the half marathon. So it gave me a chance to kind of be a spectator at the event, which I'd never really done. And it was a blast.
I mean, we were very grateful that you were there. There's something really comforting about being able to wear your jacket and just hand it over to someone right before the gun goes off.
Yeah, and hand you a Martin.
Yeah.
And so let's talk about this because, like, your version of the race, like how like Robbe had the turnaround and kind of had some help with the wind, at least not hurting. Like it would have sucked. I felt like you guys went the right way. While you're strong in the beginning, you got to go against the wind. You turn around, kind of go with the wind. And when I say go with the wind, when I was out there, it was shooting all different directions.
Yeah, I mean, it was coming sideways too.
Yeah, it wasn't like a perfect like tailwind where Robbe just
cruised,
could put up his arms and catch the wind.
I remember in the second half, there was a point where it came around to turn onto like a wide open street, and it was just like blasting me in the head. Like I thought I was good to go, and I just literally just started laughing. I was like, "This is ridiculous."
Yeah.
Like, but it helped. I was like, you know what? Whatever. It is what it is.
Yeah.
Anyways.
So how was like for the course for you? What was different about it this year? And obviously, this was you did. I would think fairly well, but I know that you had loftier goals. So like kind of walk me through that.
Yeah. So Ben and I went out. So the night before we looked at the forecast and we knew like this was not ideal conditions for a PR, but I looked at Ben at the start line and I said, let's just try. Let's just see what we can do. So the goal was to get as close to 250 as possible, which would have been a PR. And I said, let's start out at like mid 630s for at least the first 5K and try and get down to like 630 flat and just hang on. And I said, maybe we'll get that tailwind from like 14 down to 18. And I was like, maybe we'll just drop it down. We'll be feeling so good and we'll bank some time in there.
How'd that work out?
I had all these lofty ideas.
I like it.
So anyway, we went out, felt really good. I was lucky that Ben found a guy who was like basically running a 630 and he clung next to him knowing that I could tuck in behind the two of them. So I basically got a break from the headwinds throughout the first 6 miles, which was amazing. We lost that guy, and then it was just Ben and I. But
when you say you lost him, where did he go?
He took off.
Okay.
He was running the half, so he picked it up a bit. And Ben, being a metronome, stuck to our 6:30 pace, and we just kept going along. And it's funny because the spectators there are the best, but like any race, they have no idea what actual place you are, what distance you're running.
Well, you went out with the half.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So you start all together. And so the whole first half, I'm hearing, you're the third woman. You're the third or fourth woman. And I'm like, Ben, there's a good chance that we're in the lead here. And so the course loops around and the half marathon goes straight to the finish. And you get to watch them go straight to the finish and then take a hard right.
That's the part that when I thought Robbe's getting, I thought maybe they did that the loop.
They just go straight.
That hurts. Like when you hear the music and you hear the finish, you're like, you're done. Congratulations.
It gets worse. But so we make it through the first half and we take a sharp right to go past the finish line. And that's where the motorcade picks us up. And it's kind of confirmation of, okay, I'm the first woman and we knew were a mile ahead. You were waiting for us at mile 14.
Yeah. And when I saw you, not only were you the first woman, well, Ben's not a woman, but not only were you the first woman, but you guys were in third and fourth place overall. There was 2 guys in front of you that were, I would say, a good 10 minutes ahead of you. Mm-hmm. That I think what did Chris end up? Chris from down there ran a 2:35. Really impressive performance. Like they were moving. It was him and another guy, and I thought they were buddies and they were going to finish side by side, but that did not happen. We'll get into that, I guess, later. But when I saw you, I was like, "Holy cow! Meaghan could finish if Ben gets out of her way. Ben can finish third overall in the marathon."
Ben could finish third overall?
Yeah.
Ben could or Meaghan could. They were running right next to each other.
Well, once I realized that, I was thinking, Ben, we could both podium today.
Yeah.
Because he could be the third guy. And
yeah, no matter what, Ben was in third place for men.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
I wasn't sure. I knew the guys up ahead were way up ahead. I was not sure how far the next guys behind us were.
You had about a bigger lead on the next guy as the guys up front had on you.
Okay. So it was quite a distance. It was basically us out there on the motorcycle. So on the way down, we definitely felt some tailwind, but it was also, it's like the way that the road is spaced between the high rises and the beach. It was like a swirling wind where like you'd get thrown forward and then you get thrown from the side. In fact, if you go through your photos, you can see I'm right next to Ben, and then all of a sudden I'm over here, and then I'm right back next to Ben because the wind was just throwing us everywhere.
Which also, you know, I have to say, I wonder, could it, when you're all alone in those kind of conditions on a marathon and you're getting blown over, like the lead guys, they were together, obviously. You and Ben were together. Yeah. I can't imagine being out there by myself and being able to maintain a positive attitude while you're getting whipped around the road.
No, I think I told Ben like 15 times. I was like, I'm so glad you're here. I was like, I'm so glad you're here.
And I don't know about the half course, Robbie, but there was standing water on the full course. Like, I'm like, your feet are getting wet.
I don't think there was any spot. I think I could avoid any huge puddles, but at the same time, even at the half, like the last 3 miles, I was strung out. Like there was nobody around. Like I passed like 3 people in the last 3 miles, which was crazy.
It's lonely at the top.
And I finished like, it's a smaller race. So I think I finished like in 27th place, but there was like just nobody out there.
Small, there's over 2,000 runners.
Yeah, but compared to like
on a normal year, it's much larger.
Yeah.
There was COVID and the weather impacted the actual participants.
I do feel like we were talking about the people in Florida were like, they're not used to these kind of temps. Yeah. It's raining. It's 20 to 40 mile per hour gusts.
So like the dude I went fishing with, he said the week before it was like 32 degrees and he was in a race and he said there was just like half
people just didn't show up.
I believe it.
It's crazy. And he ended up getting like second or something with
that's how you gotta do it.
Yeah. Okay. So anyway, those miles were great. I thought I was going to be able to just like drop it with a tailwind, but that did not happen. So Ben even said, he's like, do you want me to try and pick it up now? And I was like, no, I do not. I was like, let's just hang on to this 6:30 pace.
And just a little bit of history. Like I've seen you at around mile 14, 16 before in a race where you look fantastic. And then I was like at the finish line, where is she? And you got cramps or something knocked you out. And so I was never comfortable, even though you guys were so far up in front. I'm not comfortable until I see you cross that finish line.
Well, so much can happen in 26 miles, especially the last.
It's only especially the 10 last miles.
Yeah. But so the way the course goes is you basically go all the way down and then you do a 180 back up and then you go back down and then you do a 180 back up all the way. So I knew once we got to 20, it was basically a grind into the headwinds back to the finish line. And
see, having to look forward to that, like knowing that's a mental, like,
And I don't know what was going on with my nutrition, but I had my normal Martins out there, which I took every 30 minutes, almost on the dot. I took the first 4, and then I couldn't take any more after that. I just had 1 left, and some Scratch. But I felt very, very nauseous. I don't know if it was because of the effort. I don't know if it's because my concentration of Scratch was too much. I'm not sure exactly what happened. Actually, I had to talk to Meaghan about it, but I was feeling very, very nauseous. And so pushing the pace was not really an option.
Can you just like puke while you're running?
I mean, I've done it before. In fact, Ben asked how I was doing. I said, I think I'm going to vomit. And he was like,
why don't you just make yourself do it?
During her first sub-3 marathon.
Yeah, I remember that.
You threw up.
Yeah.
During and you still finished sub-3. So
I just, the thought of stopping and then having to start again in the middle of a race sounds worse than just trying to just ignore the nauseous
feeling.
Can
you do it while running?
I don't know.
I don't think you can because your abs and stuff would be, like, have you ever, like, you're doubling over.
Yeah. In fact, during my initial sub-3, I tried to do that and I had to stop.
I don't think you can work your legs and your abs at the same time.
I'm pretty sure I've done it before, but I can't remember. But I don't know. It just depends. If you're running that fast,
I'm wondering. Okay, where was that, Robbie?
It was like another race that I did.
I thought it was like just like running from like.
Oh no, no, it was like in a race.
Running from the cops.
Anyways, whatever. Okay, right. Fair enough.
So you're coming back. You're nauseous.
And Ben's like 10 to 15 feet in front of me, like trying to hold pace, trying to be like my cheerleader. And I'm just like, you know, when you're in that mental spot of like everything hurts, think I might vomit. There's a giant headwind, like nothing seems great. But he was trying to cheer me up. He's like, you're not going to vomit. We're going to do this. Getting on pace. He started doing the like airplane arms, and he's like, is this helping block the wind? And I was like, you're doing nothing. This is what's
special about Ben. He's goofing around at a sub 3 hour marathon pace, having fun.
And at one point we got to, I think it was around miles 22, 23, where the wind was so insane that he and I, like, we weren't sure if we were actually moving forward. And because it was so insane, it kind of distracted me from the nausea. And I was just like, almost laughing, because I was like, this is so ridiculous that we're out here trying to hold a pace in this like wind.
Like if this had been a training run, you would just said, screw it.
I would have just stopped. So it was weirdly a nice distraction in the sense that like I was like, whatever is happening right now.
Meanwhile, I knew that going into this that maybe a sub 250 would be a potential goal for you. That was something you were excited about. So again, I'm standing in the line, and this is funny because the first time I'm standing in the line and you won, it was the day you got cramps. I was hoping that you were going to go sub 3, and I'm sitting watching the clock as it ticks away. And I think it's so crazy that it's only a couple years later, and I'm watching that clock going, oh no, she's not going to do 10 minutes under.
I was watching Thomas's face and I was like, I can't take this.
Was he just getting sadder and sadder?
Oh, you could just see he's like stressed out. Not stressed out, but just like he just like intently like looking at the clock. And I couldn't see where you were coming from, but I could tell if he was going to pick up his camera that you were.
Okay. Yeah.
And I knew that you weren't. And I was like, ugh.
It was, you know, when we leave the house and Ralphie goes up to the window.
Yeah, it's like that.
That was me, just like staring, like at that clock going, and I was like, okay, this is fine.
And
she's not gonna hit her goal, but she's still I don't see anybody else coming, so there's a chance they're still third and fourth.
But the thing is, you can see forever, like down the straightaway coming into the finish line. So, like.
And I had the lens, so I was every once in a while checking.
So even at like 2:49, you knew that it's not happening.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And Ben had a bright orange singlet on, which was actually helpful in that sea of pink to be able to see him. And I remember they're weaving in between. Now, this wasn't the best for you. You had to kind of weave through half marathoners to get to the finish line.
Well, it's worse. So when you come back up north, what it looked like on the map was that we were going to come back past the finish line and just do a loop and come back to the finish. But what they do is they send you back up north, and then you get back onto the half marathon course and you run against all of the half marathoners coming down to the finish line for about 3/4 of a mile. Ben actually asked to volunteer at one point if we were going the right direction, even though we were literally following a motorcycle. Mm-hmm. And then we finally get a turnaround. So you do another 180 in the middle of the half marathon course, and then you go straight down to the finish line, which luckily the winds at that point were then again at our back.
And I'm looking and I'm seeing, I'm like, I think I saw some orange, and then it kind of disappeared because it probably went behind someone. And I'm like, oh, there it is again. That's got to be them. I'm like, and I have like the Mac Daddy Sport lens on the camera, so I'm like zooming out as far as I can see to try to spot you guys. And the moment I saw that it was you guys, a sense of relief came over me. Probably not as much as the sense of relief of you seeing the finish line, but I was like, okay, it's done. You guys come through. Ben was gentleman enough to kind of let you go so you could break the tape. You break the tape. I'm snapping pictures. Everything is great. This is awesome. Meaghan walks right past me. I think we may have exchanged something, or like
I don't even know if I saw you.
Yeah, and then I see her go down.
Yeah, so I managed to keep it together and have a big smile on my face for the finish line, but basically all of the nausea that I was feeling from mile 20, I was like, well, now it's time.
Now the time. And it was weird because I think the first time when we were talking about the other time you threw up, you threw up, but it was like a little tiny bit. It was like that, and it was like that was it. This time there was a little tiny bit, and I thought it was over.
Oh,
it was just the bottle cork.
It looked, it looked like you drank a case of high C ecto cooler and then just like pulled an
like
ectoplasm.
Whatever liquid I ingested during that 3 hours of running was no longer in
I
me.
couldn't believe there was that. Like when it all came out, I was like, that is a lot of liquid. Like that was like a gallon.
Like your stomach clearly did not digest any of that.
Well, I'm also wondering, so this is the first time I've run what I would call like a hard effort marathon that I have not gotten any sort of leg cramps.
Well, it was I think it was cold.
But
I'm wet. It was humid.
But like now that I look back and I'm like, none of that hydration was absorbed.
But that's what I'm saying. It was humid out enough.
Yeah.
And I think your body was like, we got this. You got enough in here. But you were so preoccupied with the cramps that you've had before, even though maybe this particular time you didn't need it, you kept fueling and kept going.
I will say I usually get cramps, even maybe in a half marathon, not so much during the race, but afterwards, and I didn't get any either, so I don't know.
To cap it off, so Meg did get first place.
Mm-hmm.
Ben got third overall male. So Meaghan technically was third overall because Ben was nice enough to let her run up ahead to break the tape. But you ended up having a PR for the day. Who knows? In your age group, did you look at your age group?
I think I was third in my age group.
That's pretty good.
Are they have age group awards?
Yeah.
I think you'll get something in the mail.
You could have been on the podium.
Nice. I also forgot my bib that morning and had to at classic Robbe.
It wouldn't be Robbe. Like what would have been better is if he's like, hey, I left my shoes in the car.
Yeah.
Which of all the things that you could have lost that day, your bib was probably the best thing because Meaghan helps the race and somebody had already checked in and been like, I have this. So she already knew exactly like how fast she did that for you. I was like, whoa.
That was nice. That was a huge help. Yeah. I mean, I did get to surprisingly was there fairly early for the race. So I wasn't super rushed.
But then when we were at the hotel before, so we're all getting ready to go, Robbe disappears and everybody's like, let's go to the start. And I'm like, okay, I guess he's not going to be in the start.
Oh, photos. I think that was my fourth bathroom break of the morning.
All right.
So
I didn't see you at the start line.
You lose like 3 pounds right before the race. I was like late to the crowd. I started like 15 seconds back of the actual start.
Oh wow.
And you made up all that time.
Yeah.
You must have passed a shy ton of people.
Oh yeah, and then I jumped in the ocean afterwards, which
that was
awesome.
The nuttiest thing because I'm freezing cold out there. Like I'm shaking. It's like
raining, the wind.
We went down to Florida with the idea that we were going, like it was going to be 70 in the afternoon. It never was. It stayed at like 40s and 50s. And I did not pack correctly. I had one stinky jacket. I ran in. I wore it. Like, I'm like, I don't think it smells. I'm like, Megan's like, you smell. So.
Yeah, it was pretty brisk. I'm not going to lie. The water was cold for Florida.
Also, the day before, they had like the red flags out. Like, you're not allowed to swim.
Oh, yeah. I'm sure they were still out.
They were probably out there.
I mean, I just like did a couple dips.
I saw the video that Aldrin had or whatever of you going in. I'm like, Robbie's always got to do, like, if there was a dead cat, he'd be swinging that. There's like, he always got to do the crazy thing.
I never would have been able to get warm after that.
I kind of like it. It's kind of like when you go on a really long run, and you get home and you're like so cold, and then I like the polar extremes of
the
being
hot
super
shower
cold and then getting warm. So that's what I did. I was like, oh, I'd get like super cold by going in the ocean and then walking back to my car without any clothes on, just my shorts. And then I was like, I'll get all dried off and then warm in the car.
Oh, bye. No.
I got some looks, but it was, I don't know. It was actually.
And then we celebrated at Hoptinger.
Yeah. Burgers, beers, all that stuff.
I guess boobs, because it was the breast cancer marathon. It's kind of celebrating with that.
Yeah, we got those too. Yeah.
Dude, I almost puked in the bathroom though. Like I went to the bathroom at one point. I was like, I can't tell if I'm going to puke or not.
Oh no. Here's what I'm hoping. Like maybe next year you bring the whole family down or something and the weather is 50 in the morning, 70 in the afternoon. So we get that. Cause that party afterwards, would have been insane if the weather was good. Like
you're right on the beach.
Yeah, you're right on the beach.
It would have been really cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was definitely a cool race. I'll do it again.
All right. Let's do it again. Meaghan, you got to let somebody else win though. Maybe
I think I'm good.
Maybe do the ultra now.
Oh.
Win the ultra.
Oh.
Yeah, there was only one finisher of the Donna 110 Ultra, and she was running this year because she lost her sister to breast cancer in 2021 or 2020. Oh, wow. And yeah, the conditions were absolutely horrible. So she was the only finisher.
Yeah, because the day before was just as bad almost.
And she ran all night.
Not almost.
It was worse.
It was.
Was it?
Yeah, because it was cold, a little bit colder, I think, and then it started raining heavy.
Oh, that's right. It did rain
in the night.
Yeah.
The nighttime.
Whoa.
Yeah.
So anyways, are we going to talk about the Streakfly since?
I guess so. I mean, we got a short
should
bit
talk
of time.
about it a little bit.
Yeah, because it's an important shoe. So here it is. Nike Streakfly, Zoom X Streakfly. You can't, people want to add the air, but there's no air in it. And Robbe, this is a light shoe for my size 10.5. It's like
under 7 ounces.
Under 7 ounces, 183 grams. And it blows my mind because we are marketing this as your 5K, 10K shoe. The toe area here has the same stack as the Streak 6 that I ran a marathon in had in the heel.
Oh, in the heel. Wow.
So this is, I think it's a 32.26. It's a 6 millimeter drop. So we've gone to this place where you got to have like a giant like stack to be considered a race day shoe.
Race day flat.
Yeah, this is like considered, before the Vaporfly, this probably would have been the most amazing marathon shoe ever achieved by man.
Could you imagine a 6 ounce shoe?
I mean, there were 6 ounce shoes, but you gave up any chance of having.
Yeah, it was just like a thin thing of EVA underneath.
Yeah. So it's fantastic. It feels great under the foot. The Zoom X really works. It's got a shank in the midfoot, which I really think helps the way that I strike because I land midfoot, and I just feel that extra bit of like stability in the shoe. Mm-hmm. This is what I was kind of hoping the Turbo was going to be when that came out. This is what I was hoping the Invincible would feel like. Remember that when we tried that on the first time?
Yeah, it felt super bouncy, which it is super bouncy. But.
Super bouncy, but like every direction.
Yeah.
This one feels fast. It feels light. While Ben was down there, we did the 5K before the Donna thing. We didn't race it. We just kind of were running around shooting videos and stuff like that. You can see the reel on Instagram. But at one point, we're sprinting down like this stretch. Mm-hmm. Ben says that we were going sub 5, but I was on my treadmill this morning and I dropped it down to like
I don't know, man.
I dropped it down to like 5.
No, he said sub 6.
No, he said sub 5.
Oh,
wow.
And I was like, I don't know, but I will say when I was chasing Jordan during that thing, I was able to get to paces I probably wouldn't have thought about. But when I was on the treadmill today, I dropped it down to like 5:30 and stuff with the shoe on. And I was like, I don't think I was running sub 5. Like
that's like that speed, like sub 5, at least for me, I think is that speed where you're just like running so fast you just fall on your face because your legs like don't know what they're doing.
You do the cartoon.
Yeah.
Here's the only thing I could say. It's possible because what I did was I was waiting with the camera as Ben came, and then we ran, and then he's basically sprinting, and I'm sprinting along with him on the side. Mm-hmm. So who knows? And it wasn't like for a quarter mile. We're talking about maybe 100 yards.
Yeah. So how'd it feel?
Feels great. And that was the thing. It tuned up a little bit in the fast pace. Uh-huh. The personality of the shoe changed a little bit. I think it feels great at the 730 to 750 that we were running before that.
Yeah.
But it definitely, as you get up on your toes, I think without having the plate in there, when you're running really fast, you get up on your toes. And without having the plate, you weren't fighting against the shoe to kind of like a stiff feeling. Right. It had that nice flexible feel off the toe, but still felt really good. I
feel like it reminds me of the Peg Turbo. So like, what's the difference?
Well, Peg Turbo had the EVA and Zoom X.
Oh, that's right.
And it just felt like more like a fast daily trainer.
Okay.
So I think
it was heavier. Yeah.
Yeah. Are
you going to wear that for a 5K or 10K?
That's what I was saying. Like, I'm still probably going to go with Alpha Fly if I'm running a 5K.
So what the hell is the point? Like, I don't understand.
$160 is the point.
I mean, I guess that, yeah.
Like for a normal person who's, wants a fast feeling shoe, I think the shoe feels amazing. It reminds me of the New Balance Rebel.
Would you wear that over something like the Endorphin?
I like this slightly better than the Takumi Sen, which I really like. It's probably my favorite Adidas shoe right now, the Takumi Sen 8.
Okay.
I'd wear it.
I'm trying to think of shoes that are under $200 that are similar. Endorphin Speed or the...
I'd wear this over the Speed.
Okay.
I'd wear this over the... And that would be... people aren't going to agree with me with that. I'm sure. The Speed to me feels like a daily trainer with a plate.
Yeah, I mean, I get it. Yeah.
This guy is so light and the cushioning is so nice and it just feels fat. Like it's feather light on your feet.
So what will you use this shoe for?
Me, I would use this for like those days where I feel like...
Looking real good on the run.
Yeah. But they are hot, aren't they?
Yeah.
I would use these for like a day where maybe I want to do some tempo miles or pick up the pace. And, I have the luxury of having the full range of Nike shoes. So like where I'd use a peg as like a daily trainer, say a day where I didn't feel like feeling as sluggish as I would in the peg, I would definitely run like the Faster Bastards 10-mile runs that we do on the weekend. This would be a fun shoe to wear with that.
So you'll go distance in that shoe.
I would. I mean, to me, compared to the Streak 6, which was a marathon shoe, right. This would have been, if they put this out before the Vaporfly, like if they gone Streak 6, Streakfly,
that would have been the marathon shoe.
Everybody would have blown their mind on this. They would have lost it.
Yeah.
It's the cushioning and the way it feels.
So when's it going to be available?
It's available, I think, tomorrow at 10 a.m.
Well, so it'll be available now.
It'll be. Here's the thing. I don't think it's going to be available. It's
going to sell out.
If you can get your hands on it, go ahead and get it.
It's going to sell out immediately by the time this podcast comes out, at least on Running Warehouse.
I believe Nike too.
Okay, yeah. And StockX has it for like $400. So.
Yeah. And that first, when I wasn't sure we were going to get seated it, I went on StockX and was like, I'll just get a pair off there because I feel like it's a shoe that we need to review. And the bids were starting at like $400, $450. And I'm just like, it's a $160 shoe. I can't. So, and luckily we got two pairs in. Brandon, who ran, I would say what he would call like a tempo run in it. He did a 12-mile tempo run in New York at about a 6:40 pace. Mm-hmm. He didn't fall in love with the shoe as much as I did.
Yeah, but he doesn't know what he's talking about.
Well,
I'm just kidding. No,
it is a difference of like his race marathon shoe. He started with the Alpha Fly.
Yeah, I mean, it's like you can't compare it against those shoes. It's just a different thing.
Yeah, but I do think I want to find out how long the foam lasts. So this is a shoe I'm going to put those extra miles in, even post review, just to see when it starts to lose a little bit of the magic. But honestly, so far, it just feels great. I have to say I preferred it on the road over the treadmill.
Last thing I want to say, which we didn't talk about, what shoes did we run in during the Donna Marathon?
Oh, yeah.
And half. So Meaghan.
Alpha Fly. Raudacious.
Classic. I ran in the A6 Metaspeed Sky, which I love that shoe.
That's your boy.
That's my favorite.
See, I'm wondering, I'm hoping it's one of those things. I'm guessing you're going to like the new one even more.
If they fix the upper a little bit, the upper isn't that bad, but if they even make it better.
I think it might be a little softer underfoot. I think the plate's getting moved a little bit.
Mother effer.
You don't like that?
As it's perfect to me where it is.
See,
no, I'm excited for me too.
I don't want it softer.
That was the problem I had with it.
Maybe a marathon I could see. Okay.
Yeah, it got a little like that York. The York was a disaster. It was a car wreck anyway. But my feet towards the front were starting to hurt a little bit. But I was out there longer than I thought I was.
What I was surprised about is that I usually lose a toenail in my one beside my big toe, and the Metaspeed Skies are like pretty tight. And I didn't. It was fine. I didn't lose it.
That's pretty good.
It didn't hurt afterwards either. Yeah, my feet. Nothing about my feet hurt. Felt great.
That's amazing.
My quads have been sore, but that makes sense.
Quad City DJs.
Yeah.
These top ones.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's the quads, right?
Yeah. I think
nailed
so.
it. Yeah.
I think these are calves.
Hamstrings are on the
quads, glutes.
Yeah. Okay.
Hamstring's a whole different thing.
Yeah, that's just.
I hate the name hamstring.
Yeah, it sounds like it should be like string cheese, but made of ham.
Well, I think it's also like, have you ever?
we gotta move on.
Meg would be gross.
Have you ever heard like when they say they hamstring the guy?
Yeah.
That was because back when they butchered, they put the hook through that.
Yeah, you hang it from the...
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Anyway. Yeah.
Right,
Glad we got that last bit in there.
Yeah, so that's it. Is there anything in the running news world that we need to cover?
No, we're good. People are fed up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sorry, people.
All right, so this week our guest is Christina Welsh, and
isn't she from Florida? Or no, she's from
New Jersey, but she's living down
in
in St. Petersburg, I believe, Florida.
So she's not Welsh, but she is.
Sure.
I don't think she is.
Anyway,
she has to be back in the day.
We interviewed her. I didn't see one Irish thing in the background. Or Welsh isn't Irish, though.
Yeah.
I didn't see anything from Wales in the background. But she is a marine biologist, so maybe there's Wales. That's
boom. I like that.
All right,
sorry, we made derail Meaghan's intro.
Yeah. So why were we curious to interview her?
So she is a fascinating human, and she ran her first marathon in 2019, a 3:29. And dropped it down in the past several years to a 2:33 in Houston this January. She ran with Ben Johnson at Grandma's Marathon, which is who actually brought her to our attention. And so we just wanted to hear about her marathon progression and how she did it.
Speaking of Ben Johnson, we will get him on the podcast soon to talk. Ben is kind of fascinating, but today we're going to roll. So let's do this.